What's up, everybody? Eric Solbox out the shop today, messing around with the Tupperware Tank, and I'm telling you, she's a runner. Check it out. Still has some old gas in it. I put a little bit of, I siphoned some of the old gas out. I got about, a third of a quart into my mouth, which is really nice. But I got most of the gas out, put some fresh in. I just rode it up the road and back for its second little trip. So far the list of things that this bike needs is really short. Could definitely use a windscreen. I wouldn't necessarily call it a need at this point because I could cut it down and still use this if I want. But if I do keep this bike, I will buy a better screen for it. I will buy something more like this one that you can actually see through. The one thing that it absolutely at this point has to have, actually two things. It needs tires. The front one I would probably trust, even though I know it's old, but there's no checking on the side of it. The back one's got checking on the side of it, and so it really shouldn't be trusted. The bike hasn't been on the road since 2005, so it needs tires, and it definitely needs wheel bearings. Hopefully the back ones are better than the front. I haven't checked them yet, but not supposed to do that. So I will get a couple of wheel bearings on the way. Oh, it needs the speedometer fix too, which I'm looking at this. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like it is stuck in there correctly. I'm gonna hope that it's the same thing that was on the PC800, where the cable just came out of the back of it. As a matter of fact, I know this guy was messing with this bike and put this stereo on it. And so I'm gonna guess that he probably was behind the dash doing some stuff and probably either didn't put it back or it came loose or whatever. I just noticed this. What's going on here? This is all janky and jagged here. Is that the original? This one looks nice. This one looks all messed up. Like somebody just took orange and made one. I didn't notice that before, so I'll probably be on the hunt. I guess that's not a have-to-have type of thing, but yeah, I didn't notice that before until just now. As far as the mileage goes, its claim of 29,000, it dawned on me that the foot pegs on this bike don't look like a high mileage bike. If this was like 129 or 89 like it broke a long time ago, this would be a lot more worn, because if you compare it to the passenger one, the depth is about the same, and also the depth, you can see the part of it where it doesn't really get used over here, where it doesn't tend to wear, isn't a whole lot deeper than this. So I do believe that this probably is a fairly low mileage bike. Who knows when the speedometer stopped working, but I'm gonna guess that it probably wasn't too terribly long ago. Now I was talking about the master and slave cylinders for the rear brakes. You know what? I just bled them is all I did, and it's nice and firm, and I haven't seen anything dripping that would indicate that I've got like a bad hose or anything. So bled the brakes are working fine. It's kind of a trip to bleed these, because you do have a line that goes to this caliper on the front and the rear caliper, and so my understanding is that you should always bleed the front one first, which is how I did it. I used the little pump from the Harbor Freight basically to suck the fluid through it. It was super easy to do, and it's going again. Another thing that I checked out that I kind of had my fingers like crossed about was the air suspension. Are the shocks going to hold, or are they bad? Yes, I pumped them up with just like 21 pounds yesterday or the day before. I just checked it. This is still holding, and also up front it is holding. So I'm really thrilled about that. I don't have any blown like fork seals. It's holding air. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I spoke too soon. Yeah. Oil. But you know what? I've never actually, in all the years I've been riding motorcycles, I've never changed out a fork seal. Every single time I have been able to take a pop bottle and cut the plastic with a little hook and get it down in there and clean them out. So I'll let the air back out of that. I'm sure that that's what it is there's just a little something caught down in that one. And I can probably fish it out. This one, I don't see any oil around it. Hey, the good news with this side is there's at least I know there's oil in the fork, right? I'm pretty thrilled, you know, this bike, it definitely needs some TLC. I'll add that to the list of things that it needs. But you know what? It's a runner right now, and it's going to take, you know, like I thought maybe this charging system was going to need work. The brakes are still a little iffy on the front because the pistons are sticking. So I'm probably going to take the calipers apart and grease the pins and maybe a little lube around where the pistons are and try to work them in and out a little bit. But they're functioning fine. They're not leaking. They're just sticking a little bit. So if I use the front brake, it tends to want to seize up on me. Actually, let's see. Pump this up. Let's see what happens. Yeah, see, it's not as bad as it was before, I don't think. Maybe. I put some air in the tires too. They were both like super, super low, which was making it a lot harder to roll this bike around and deal with it. It's got like 30 pounds in each tire. I still need to look and see what it's actually supposed to call for the proper amount. But at least it's got some gas in it. It's got air in it. I just rode it up the road. Boy, that wheel bearing, or both wheel bearings, are really, really bad. So you can definitely feel that when you're riding it. But a little more effort, and I think I'm going to have a runner and a bike that actually really doesn't look too terribly bad until you really start to look close. You start to see that, you know, there's some rust and stuff down in here. But I'm going to clean this bike up, and I think I might be able to dip all this chrome stuff in acid and run it through my powder coating oven and maybe make it all black and just deal with it that way. Bike could definitely use a good detail. You know, I did a few things last night, like this was all filthy and this stuff was all dirty, and I cleaned it all up. And so I think this bike's gonna look good when it's done, and probably be a hell of a good time to ride too. So anyway, Eric Solbach, just wanted to give you an update on the Tupperware tank. Talk to you later.